The Göbekli Tepe story. A pale mist curled over the rugged plateau of southeastern Anatolia, where the wind whispered secrets older than memory. The first rays of sun glimmered over the horizon, illuminating jagged stones half buried in the earth. On that lonely hilltop, the world's first temple awaited, though no one yet knew it. Here, the T-shaped pillars, some rising 20 feet into the sky, loomed like silent sentinels, guarding mysteries humanity had long forgotten. Long before the pyramids would scrape the heavens and before Stonehenge would align with the solstices, there were no kings, no empires, and no farmers. There were only the hunter-gatherers, nomadic souls wandering the plains, following the rhythm of the seasons, the flight of birds, and the murmur of the wind. And yet, here they were, drawn to this hilltop by a force no one could name. The story of Göbekli Tepe's discovery begins thousands of years later, in the modern age. In the 1960s, an archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt stumbled upon the plateau near the Turkish town of Şanlıurfa. At first, the ruins appeared insignificant, dismissed as a medieval burial ground. But as Schmidt and his team carefully unearthed the soil, they realized they were peeling back layers of history older than anyone had imagined. The carbon dating of the site stunned the world, 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. This was not a small shrine, it was monumental. Circular enclosures, massive pillars carved with lions, scorpions, vultures, and snakes, symbols whose meaning was as elusive as the people who had etched them into stone. Humanity had built a temple before agriculture, before cities, before writing. How could hunter-gatherers, living a precarious life of survival, accomplish such a feat? They had no metal tools, no beasts of burden, no wheels. Yet they quarried massive limestone blocks, some weighing over 20 tons, transported them up the hill, and carved intricate animal figures with a precision that would shame civilizations millennia later. Perhaps it was faith, perhaps it was fear, perhaps it was something we cannot yet comprehend. The site radiated a power, a sacredness that transcended the mundane. The builders were driven by a force stronger than survival, a longing for connection, ritual, and understanding. The pillars of Göbekli Tepe were not mere stones, they were living symbols. Each T-shaped monument stood like a human figure, arms outstretched, guarding the space around it. Central pillars were often larger, more ornately carved, dominating the circular enclosures with an aura of authority or divinity. The carvings tell stories, though no one today can read them fully. Predatory animals abound. Lions crouch in ambush, snakes coil in readiness, vultures soar in silent menace. Some scholars suggest these are symbolic, perhaps representing life and death, danger and protection, the balance of nature. Others propose a cosmological interpretation. The pillars may mark celestial events, the flight of stars, or the rhythms of the heavens. Why construct such a monumental site without the infrastructure of farming or permanent settlements? One theory suggests that Göbekli Tepe was not just a temple, but a catalyst for civilization itself. Hunter-gatherers may have planted crops, gathered communities, and developed rituals in order to sustain their spiritual work. In this sense, the temple may have preceded agriculture, rather than following it. Göbekli Tepe was a hub of life, devotion, and mystery. Around its enclosures, humans would gather, feasting on wild grains and hunted animals, chanting, performing rituals whose meaning we can only imagine. It was a place of power, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. The carvings on the pillars may represent early symbolic writing. Repetitive motifs hint at stories, myths, or star constellations. Some pillars may align with celestial events, suggesting Göbekli Tepe functioned as an ancient observatory. Every stone carved here whispers a secret, a knowledge lost for 12,000 years, and the question remains, why? After centuries of use, the site was deliberately buried around 8000 BCE. Why bury such a monumental creation? Ritual closure, preservation, fear of outsiders. Archaeologists can only speculate. Some pillars bear the scars of fire, some carvings are obscured by deliberate marks. Göbekli Tepe stands as a paradox. Monumental yet pre-agricultural, sacred yet silent, ancient yet alive with questions. Humanity's story as we know it begins to blur here. And beyond the soil, beyond the stone, beyond the mist, lie the rituals, the myths, and the secrets that Part 2 will explore. As the sun sank behind distant mountains, the plateau of Göbekli Tepe transformed. Shadows stretched long across the T-shaped pillars, and the wind whispered among the stones as if carrying voices from another time. The air was still, thick with an unseen presence. One could imagine the first priests or shamans walking among the pillars, torches flickering in the darkness, chanting in languages long lost to memory. Here, under the eternal sky, the earliest humans practiced rites that would echo through millennia, shaping not just religion but the very essence of civilization. Göbekli Tepe is not a random collection of stones. Its enclosures are carefully designed, each circular, each pillar strategically placed. The circles vary in size, some with pillars 20 feet tall, others more modest. These enclosures were ceremonial spaces. The arrangement suggests ritualistic processions, where participants moved through the circle in a carefully choreographed pattern, perhaps guided by the priests who understood the secret language of the stones. The T-shaped pillars themselves may represent ancestral spirits, symbolic humans or deities. Their carvings, snakes, scorpions, lions, and vultures, might represent totems or spiritual guardians, each chosen for its significance in the beliefs of these ancient people. The animal carvings are more than decoration. They are messages, possibly symbolic or encoded. Predators dominate the art: lions, scorpions, snakes, vultures. Some scholars suggest these represent forces of nature or cosmic entities. Hybrid creatures may indicate shamanic visions or mythological beings. Some researchers even propose these carvings encode astronomical data, linking the rituals to celestial events. Imagine tracing a carved snake with your finger and seeing in its curves the stars above, a fusion of art, spirituality, and science. Shamans likely played a central role at Göbekli Tepe. The T-shaped pillars could represent ancestral spirits or deities, and rituals may have induced altered states of consciousness to commune with unseen realms. Evidence supporting this includes elaborate carvings, seating arrangements, and animal remains, possibly offerings. Imagine a shaman standing before the central pillars, chanting while the community observes. Bridging the mortal and divine. Göbekli Tepe may also have been a cosmic observatory. Certain pillars align with solstices or star patterns. The animal carvings could correspond to constellations. This suggests the builders combined spirituality with cosmological observation, making the temple a bridge between earth and sky. The temple may have been linked to ancestor worship and mortality rituals. Some pillars resemble human forms, some show signs of offerings. The deliberate burial of the site may itself be a ritual act, sealing sacred knowledge beneath the earth. Göbekli Tepe is not isolated. Similar monumental structures appear in Malta, Britain, and Mesopotamia. Some symbols resemble Sumerian and Egyptian motifs. Speculative theories propose a pre-flood civilization, whose knowledge trickled down to the Göbekli Tepe builders. Around 8000 BCE, the enclosures were buried. The reasons remain unknown: ritual closure, protection, or concealing knowledge too powerful. The last generation of builders disappears into history, leaving whispers behind. Göbekli Tepe is a monument to human curiosity, spirituality, and ingenuity. Its pillars, carvings, and buried enclosures whisper across time, echoing devotion and mystery. Part 3 will explore lost knowledge, cosmic messages, and humanity's legacy. The first light of day spills across the plateau, casting the T-shaped pillars in a golden glow. Beneath the soil, the secrets of Göbekli Tepe lie silent, waiting for discovery. Hunter-gatherers accomplished feats of monumental architecture, carving massive stones and arranging them into circular enclosures. Were they guided by spiritual devotion, elite shamans, or knowledge passed from a lost civilization? The animal carvings may represent a proto-language, encoding ideas about life, death, cosmology, and spirituality. Predators dominate, hybrid creatures appear, and repetitive motifs suggest ritual storytelling. Some carvings may even contain astronomical knowledge, linking earth and sky. Göbekli Tepe may have inspired agriculture, social cohesion, and the rise of villages. Spiritual devotion, not survival alone, may have driven humanity's first step toward civilization. Similar enclosures in Malta, Britain, and Mesopotamia hint at shared traditions. Some motifs echo Sumerian and Egyptian symbols. Göbekli Tepe may represent remnants of lost wisdom, buried deliberately to survive the collapse of ancient knowledge. The temple's design hints at complex ceremonies, involving central pillars, fire, chanting, and offerings. Rituals likely induced altered states, linking humans to cosmic forces. Around 8000 BCE, Göbekli Tepe was intentionally buried. The reasons may have been ritualistic, protective, or to conceal knowledge. Soil covered sacred stones, preserving them for future generations. Göbekli Tepe influenced future civilizations, monumental architecture, and early religious practices. Its pillars are like pages from a cosmic manuscript, a record of knowledge humanity is only beginning to read. Questions remain: who were the builders? How did they carve massive stones? What did the carvings mean? Why bury the site? Speculative theories continue to fuel imagination and scholarship. Göbekli Tepe shows that humanity's first leap toward civilization may have been driven by faith, wonder, and the desire to reach beyond survival, not mere practicality. The T-shaped pillars stand silent but alive with meaning. They whisper devotion, mystery, and human imagination across millennia. Göbekli Tepe is the birthplace of human curiosity, a sacred testament to the mysteries of existence, and a reminder that even before civilization, humanity dreamed, imagined, and reached for the stars. Forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more interesting ancient histories.